How's everyone doing tonight? My thing just glitched out in a way that I've never seen. So hopefully I'm actually live. Check. Let me know let me know though, as usual. Is the audio coming through fine? If everyone's having or had a happy Valentine's Day. Kind of a weird day to do a live stream. This show is upcoming. Am I not live? Is not sure if I'm live or not. Did I go live on the wrong thing? I don't know. Okay, I am actually live. That took over a minute, I think, for it to actually go live. Apologies for the extended delay, but yeah, I clicked go live and it took like 15 seconds for my OBS to do anything. And then I went to my own stream and it said waiting for them to go live. No idea what happened there. But yeah, any questions? Feel free to leave them in the chat. Strange night to be live, kinda. Family man, family first, all that stuff that I always talk about. And then Valentine's Day. Go live on Valentine's Day. Fortunately, my wife is under the weather, not feeling well. She sorry, I'm still listening to myself in my own ear, throwing myself off. But yeah, she has strep. Everything is going around her school. I think everything is going around all the schools all the time. They're just a breeding ground for everything. So yeah, unfortunately, just getting some rest, and I figured I'd go live now. I contemplated doing like a Dallas prep stream. I mean, I'm leaving for Dallas in a little over a week, and I have nothing ready. I have nothing priced. I have nothing packed. I guess I do have. If Sam's listening out there, I've got your cards ready. That's all I have packed. Couple things that I owe people. I guess I have earmarked ready to go, but I have a lot to do in the next week for Dallas. I have a lot to do in the next week. I kind of finished like I call it my rough draft for my taxes earlier today. Mostly last night, but a little bit further earlier today. It is hectic around these parts right now. But being busy is a good thing, right? So yeah, hanging out. I will be done definitely by midnight or shortly thereafter. So 60 to 90-minute live stream, depending on how lively chat is. Feel free to leave questions. Let me do a little bit of self-promo at the front here after that couple minutes of confusion. Again, I apologize for that. But I was in my office hour last night. I do office hour every Tuesday night from 10 to 11 p.m. in Discord. If you're watching this weeks, months, years later, which I don't think live streams get watched much that late on. But anyways, as of now, I'm doing Tuesday nights at 10 p.m. once a week. And Jake, I believe, is doing Thursdays from 4 to 5 Eastern. We have a Patreon linked below in the description. We have those office hours every week. Q&A, a little bit more intimate setting, maybe, I guess. Less people, a little bit more private, but still... There's other people there, and it's not recorded. It's not uploaded anywhere. It's just live on the spot, Q&A, and then we do the monthly Zoom. Monthly Zoom is going to be this weekend for the Patreon, so I'm not sure what Jake is presenting on, but it's his month. Since Dallas is the last weekend of the year, he is doing it a week early. We normally do the last Sunday of the year for that, so I figured I'd do a little bit of self-promo while I'm waiting for some questions to come in on the Pokenomics Patreon. $10 a month, all that stuff, the whole backlog. All those goodies. And then I thought I had it here, but I guess I don't. Oh, I did bring this. So let me go to my other camera. So the eBay Vault, I've made a couple shorts about it. New lower rates. Happy Valentine's Day. I don't know that we're gonna open this, but this has been on my floor in like the corner of my office for a while. So it's Valentine's Day. I figured I'd grab it. New lower rates below, 1 to 4%, depending on the sale price for the eBay Vault Consignment. Feel free to reach out if you're interested about that. And then a note. I know a lot of people probably don't read their emails. I sent out a mass email a week or two ago now to all my active and former consigners. Everyone who had cards sold through my eBay Vault under the 5% fee. I didn't credit you necessarily everything that you had sold and paid in excess fees relative to what the new fee structure is. But yeah, if you've consigned with me before through my eBay Vault, in the top right next to what I owe you, what I've paid you recently, in the top right, there's a credit column. And I'm just not giving it back as like not a refundable credit in the tax jargon. So a non-refundable credit, but a credit that will be applied to future commissions on cards sold through the eBay Vault. Some people, it was as low as $25. One thing I'm going to actually do, and I'll do a little bit of a rant here too while I'm waiting for more questions to come in. But one thing I hate in like car insurance, in any long-term subscription type thing, streaming services, car insurance, cable TV, maybe your cell phone, all these companies will lure people in with a promotional rate. And it makes sense. New customer acquisition, you lure them in with a promotional rate. And then they just like treat all their long-term loyal customers that maybe have been with them for 2 years, 20 years, 50 years. I was talking to my grandpa the other day, and he was talking about how he's been with his car insurance company for like 40 years. And it's kind of sad and crazy that he could call up another one and probably get a 10, 20% lower rate for just swapping to a new thing. And loyalty isn't honored or like valued a lot of times, it seems. So one thing I'm going to be doing in the coming days, weeks, months, I'm not sure exactly when, but I'm going to be doing a little bit of an affiliate style thing, potentially. I'm not sure if I'm going to add that side. There's going to be a promo. So it's going to be submit. This is like, I'm not sure if it will be exactly this, but it will be close to this. Submit your first 5 cards. So new customers, submit your first 5 cards. Sell one for free, basically. So like a $25 fee credit. I guess if you sent all high end, if you sent all $10,000 plus cards, it would be a more valuable credit, right? So the more expensive stuff you send, going to be your cheapest card of the 5 will be sold for free, essentially. So minimum $25 credit, maybe more. I might tie it in where like certain influencers, certain people use code KAC25 and get a $25 credit. Maybe I'll give them a little bit of money too. I'm going with that idea. Maybe people will leave in the chat, leave in the comments whether they feel positively or negatively about that. But I don't want to do that for new customers and then leave all my current customers just, oh, well, that's great that Dan's doing that for the new guys, but he's not doing anything for us. So everyone who is actively consigning with me, if you sent me 5 cards or more, I've credited your account $25 credit for fees. If you've sold cards through me under the old rates, I may not have credited the entire difference between the new rates and the old rates, but I credited a decent amount. I mean, I think the highest single credit of any person, it was like several $100s. I want to say across 60 or 70 consigners, I maybe credited $3,600. I just did a sum across all my sheets, and I totaled up like what all the credits were by the time I went through and did it. It was mid $3,000. So yeah. Again, go check your consignment sheets if you are actively consigning. If you are a future consigner, I'll just like in the interim before I onboard that new program, that new advertising, I will just default everyone to a $25 credit when they're starting, and I'll probably like advertise that more formally. Maybe on my channel, definitely on my channel, maybe on other channels too. Maybe an affiliate code type thing. But yeah, that's the plan. I'm building up a nice backlog right now. To see that, Grimer. So yeah, I'm going to get in and start answering the questions. Hopefully, I do see a decent amount of drop frames. I apologize. I have DSL internet, and it is what it is. I am streaming to you in 720. 1080 would be non-functioning. But yeah, let's see where we're at. Father says, late night guy. Yeah, hope everyone had a happy Valentine's Day. Some amount of people probably tied up in Valentine's Day type activities. So hope everyone is enjoying their Valentine's Day or enjoyed it if you're watching this later on. Finishing UW application while listening to a MetaZoo stream, rejection is almost certain. We'll see if it's, I don't know if it's going to be a Pokemon stream or a MetaZoo stream, wherever you guys take it. Dan, what's the over-under on you sending me that NFT before Christmas? I need to get my, now that Bitcoin's over 50,000, I might have to get my ledger out. I might be selling a little bit soon. I will never sell it all. I will never buy back in more than I've like taken out of it. But yeah, we'll see. Late. I swear I clicked the button at 10:30 and then all those hiccups, whatever the thing was doing. Apologies again for that. Um, Still waiting for Dan to make custom badges instead of the star. I pay hard-earned money for this. I really should. I appreciate. I have several members now, quite a few members over a year. Very much appreciate it. I hope you have enjoyed your year plus of emojis and everything. I need to get you better badges though. I don't know what to do with them. I need to figure something out. I'm not the creative type, and then I need to. I mean, maybe the final one is like the humble fisherman. And I don't know. There's probably something I could do there. Could all just be the fish, and then they just change colors as they go. Shiny version for the final. We'll see. Is this the Catch 'em All? This is the Catch 'em All collectibles. Leaf Green Goblin says you're live. Appreciate it. He looks befuddled. I was very befuddled at the start. I'm still a little befuddled right now. Grimer says half my lab just got the flu. Guess I have time to prep for Dallas now. Everything is flying around right now. My wife and kids, like I am normally good, but anyone who watched Pokeflips, it wasn't last one with Terry, so it was like 3 weeks ago now. I sounded like death. I sounded like Collecticon Sunday Dan. I had laryngitis was what did the voice, and they gave me some antibiotic for that. But underlying, no flus of any kind. Whatever they tested me for at urgent care. Immediately after Pokeflips, I went to urgent care, and I was negative for everything. Bad case of laryngitis. Wife's got strep right now. Hopefully, it doesn't go to the kids. Hopefully, like man, these winters are crazy. I hope as my kids get older. My wife's still going to be a teacher of elementary school age kids, so it's probably going to always be a thing to an extent. But I remember right before Denver, she was like a little bit. The first one she went to, touch and go, whether she was going to be able to make it. The only like silver lining, she has it now. She's on the antibiotics. Should be plenty good to go for next week. So hopefully nothing else comes into the system while that's going out. They're off all next week. So that's part of why we're like going to Dallas together. We're going a little bit early, going to experience the hometown of her team. She's a Cowboys fan, unfortunately. So we're going to check out Dallas a little bit. Anything in specific you owe people that you won't be bringing to Dallas? Retro, you're not doing Dallas, are you? Retro, if you are in Dallas, I will get you the NFT in Dallas. I will find a way. I will like transfer it to a mobile MetaMask wallet before Dallas, and then I will in person. I will transfer it to you if you're there. So I forget if you're going. I have a hard time remembering the ones that I'm going to, but Walrus, can I consign through you? So Walrus has a true. I have 1 to 4% consignments. Mr. Walrus, 4 to 1% variable consignments available. You get 96 to 99% of your money back. Walrus does the inverse. You get 1 to 4% back. So I mean, check him out if you're interested. Great guy, very trustworthy. You will get. I mean, once the card sells, you will get that 1 to 4%. But yeah, there he is. His own words right there. I get 96, you get 4. Professor Birch says, how do you track your sales when you go to shows? Do you make any spreadsheets for all your inventory for each show? No. I'm pretty bad with it. I am going to delist everything from eBay. I've gone back and forth on that. I've been pretty bad about it. I will say my inventory overall will be like less stellar than normal. A lot of my goodies, a lot of my higher end stuff is already in the eBay vault. So it'll be, I mean, I still have quite a few sub 250 cards on my eBay. I'm going to have 2 full cases. I'm going to have some sealed. I don't know that I'm going to buy a box or anything. I actually have, I have like base and jungle heavies from before. We'll see. But yeah, I usually start with either a notepad thing in my phone on the notepad app. If my wife's there, she'll have a Sharpie and maybe a sheet of cardboard or a scrap of paper. Some of them will get recorded, maybe all of them, maybe not. I'm pretty bad with it. Nice thing about when it's like PayPal or whatever, you have a record due to that. If it's cash, it's like I know what I'm going there with in cash, and then I know what I leave with. So it's all tracked to some extent, but not as closely as it probably should be. I was giving you more, but if you want me to keep 99 and you want, I'm down. So Brandon, appreciate you. Gifted 10 Catch 'em All Collectibles memberships. I actually, just before this, I have a big backlog. At some point, I'm going to have to purge it. But you know what I didn't purge? I did not purge the Beerski episode with BB. Great episode. Maybe Walrus, maybe Retro, maybe somebody can link it. Don't leave this stream to go watch it. But once this is done, like whenever you're, add it to your watch later, whenever you have a backlog, or whenever you don't have a backlog, whenever you're looking for content to watch, go watch Beerski and BB. It was a great podcast. Great conversation. Don't thank me, thank Dan. It's his money. Oh, that's right. Brandon won from Brandon won a giveaway from the Green Shiz. That was my money that it was Josh's money that I didn't take as a tip when one of his cards sold. So yeah, anyways, how do I return this membership? No returns. all sales final, just like the eBay vault. Not refundable. Yeah, pre-vault consignments. There's nothing for that because I was paying the full shot. I was not making any excess money. My rates for non-eBay vault consignment, I don't even really talk about it. I don't really advertise it. I don't want to take non-vault consignments. I want them all to be vault consignments, but I do still a little bit here and there take non-vault consignments. And it's I don't make as much money. It's not optimal. It's not ideal. Live Pokemon market Q&A equals one thing I hate about car insurance. Yeah, you need to, what they usually call it, customer retention. You need to get to customer retention, and that's where you'll get a discount. Here we go. Stop sign. Love the stop signs on the questions. I'm just starting to get into going to shows. Do you ever attend local shows for in-person sales / buying, or stick to just Collecticons? Collecticons are very solid. Biggest part for me about Collecticons is all the people. I mean, you could make the argument that, hey, if you have local conventions in Syracuse and Albany and somewhere near you, there are probably a lot of cool people there that frequent those, that live around you. Like maybe you can make some in real life Pokemon friends too that you could hang out with for Pokemon and not for Pokemon. At some point, I have the intent to go to them. It's just tough. They're all on weekends, and I'm already tying up 3 to 4 weekends with Collecticons and all that. So even though it's not like commitment of hotels and flights and all that, that's not a massive concern with the amount that I'm able to sell at these out-of-town conventions. But going to, I mean, I could, instead of vending it, I could just attend it, right? Like, I remember my family and I, we were at a mall in Albany, just, I think we went to an aquarium. We went to an aquarium or something like that. We were going out to lunch or dinner. And in the middle of the mall, there was like 8 tables. It was like an 8-table convention in the middle of a mall. I actually bought my son. There was MetaZoo there. I bought a little bit of MetaZoo. I bought a little bit of Pokemon. And that one would not have been worthwhile vending, I don't think. Maybe if I'd had a couple hundred packs of the newest set, maybe I would have sold like 10 of them or 20 of them. I don't really know. But I used to do like local, let me pull the question down. I used to do local conventions for like the beer steins. I went to that one in Albany. I didn't go. I've never been to one in Syracuse yet, but at some point I will. Buffalo, Rochester. They're drivable within a day, but it would be a lot. I went to that one in New Hampshire. Let's Play games that Dan TCG and Old Skool and Pokenomics put on together. I sold like one or two things. I brought like Collecticon inventory, higher end stuff normally I have. I sold like one. I think I sold one thing and traded one thing. That was like a local show 4 hours away from me. That was not ideal. Bringing the rights, like I'm sure good stuff priced well at the proper one, like you can probably do fairly well relative to like the lower hurdle for barrier to entry and cost and stuff. It's never going to be a big part of my business because it just ties up weekends, and those are the times that I don't want to tie up. Those are the times where I want to be more free. So yeah, I don't really intend to make it a bigger part of my business. Maybe doing one or two a year at some point. We'll see. Let's see. Dan, how often do you sharpen your lawnmower blades? Not as often as I should. Probably once every other year or something. Dan, it's 2024. We're past pretending we have questions to ask about how to make money on Pokemon. You need a new gig, boss. Oh man. I was hoping it's almost that time of year. Depending on what your situation is, I'm a corporation in Pokemon, right? I'm an S corp. I've talked about a lot. Corporate filing deadline is March 15th. Personal is April 15th. If you're a sole proprietor or similar, I generally my CPA firm likes to get my stuff like a month before. So the last 2 nights, I was grinding out all my tax stuff. If you've got tax questions, feel free to hit me with them. 3 a.m., 2:30 a.m. I think Monday, and then maybe I went till 1:30 or 2. I forget how late I was up last night. A little bit during the days when my daughter allows, when she's eating lunch or occupied with something. I put a lot of time the past week or two into finishing up my taxes. It's a tight window from when you get your final 1099s. They have till January 31st to get those out. So when February 15th, my CPAs want to have everything so that they have a full month to get everything done, it's a quick turnaround, and it's not much sleep. Not much sleep, especially when you're already working nights and stuff. So here we go. The Godly Shad says, going forward, how do you think the eBay vault will change the market? Do you think consigning will be more difficult? Will we see less of an auction to buy now spread? One thing I'm not doing currently, but one thing I intend to do in the future, and I used to do it in the past, buying auctions and just immediately relisting them as buy it nows. Having the eBay vault, having it be 0% selling fees. At some point this year, I don't know exactly when, 3% buyer's premium is coming to the eBay vault. But yeah, when Cameron and I talked about this some, I think in office hours this week or last week, whenever it was, maybe it was in DMs actually. Sorry to spill the DMs, but we talked a little bit about it. And one of the big things that I've talked about with respect to like Pokemon versus traditional, I mean, not real estate, because you obviously have big selling fees with that and a lot of time and huge process to sell real estate. But the instant liquidity and the extremely low, I mean, often zero selling fees in traditional assets like stocks and stuff, stocks and bonds and such. Pokemon has always had, well, hey, you got 12%, 13% final value fee, you got shipping, you got this, that. With the eBay vault, at least for single graded cards, you're talking about frictional, transactional, like percentages and all that, like haircut. You're going from taking a 15% haircut potentially 3% now, right? With buyer's premium, once that comes, 0% as of today. I mean, if you have a good credit card, you should be having at least 2% cash back. So if you're paying a 3% buyer's premium, getting 1, 2, 3% cash back, that's almost making it so like, I mean, the seller is receiving what the buyer is functionally paying, right? So, yeah, I think that will help a lot. Do I think consigning will be more difficult? I'm not worried about consigning going away. A lot of people, there are certain attractiveness to consigning services that I won't get into. I guess I'll leave it at, as a consigner, I do not have to 1099 my consignees, my clients, because they're the ones paying me money, right? I'm not paying them money. I'm just giving them their money once the card sells. So there will always be some people lured to it. eBay Vault, for one, is at least now domestic only. So international people will always be out there for it. But paying 1 to 4% paying 1 to 4%, having someone else do all the work, and not getting a government document saying how much money you received. Like, I'm not advocating for anything. I'm just stating facts. I'm stating market realities. Less of an auction to buy now spread. Not really. I don't think that will do much to tighten those. Maybe a little bit if more people like me start, and I haven't done it yet, but I think in the future I might a little bit. If more people with eBay vaults start just scooping up auctions to immediately list at, hey, 10, 20, 30% premium as buy it nows, that will just make more consumers out there of auctions. Like, I haven't bought an auction on eBay, and I can't tell you how long, probably over a year. It's been so long since I bought an auction on eBay. I buy supplies, I buy some random Secret Santa gift, whatever. I did win a Secret Santa gift as an auction, so I just remember that, as I said, about in all of 2023, I probably bought 1 or 2 auctions, and one of which being a Secret Santa gift that I got for Swami, and then maybe not even another. But so, yeah, auction to buy it now spread might tighten up minuscule amounts. I don't think it will have drastic effects on that, but I could see some logic where that would. But overall, yeah, that's my thoughts. I think eBay Vault, its beta version, whatever you want to call it, I think it's going to shake things up with respect to PWCC, Heritage, Golden. I mean, I sold a $217,500 Charizard. At the time, Zach paid slightly over 1%. At the time, I was advertising 5% fees. I did not take 5% on that. I took barely over 1%. I actually credited Zach back with basically making him whole down to a functional 1% fee. And I think just recently one sold on PWCC. I think one might be up on Heritage or Golden. If you saw that card on PWCC, I don't want to say the wrong number, but somewhere between 5 and 10%, if I had to guess. Their thing scales. It start at 28% for lower values, and then if you get up to, like, I don't know if it's $1 million plus or maybe it's 100,000 plus is like 5%. Maybe it would have only been 5% through PWCC, Heritage, Golden, unless you specifically negotiate with them, which I think with a PSA 10 base versus Charizard, you probably could, to be fair, but you're paying 10, 20, 25% minimum. Like, 20, 25% are just like the standard rates. I think 20% at Golden, 25% at Heritage. And then, yeah, like maybe you're getting them down to 10 on a card like that if you're a good negotiator. Maybe if you have other things you're bundling in, selling with them. But I think the eBay Vault will start to steal a lot of high-end stuff from Golden, Heritage, PWCC. Is that going to, like, kill them? No, I don't think that's going to kill them. But I think it's going to be a boon for the markets overall. Just cheaper, easier, cheaper ways to transact. My wife asked the same question. Is Clean Shaven Dan ever coming back? I don't know. Someday. Long enough timeline, maybe. I don't know. If my wife's listening, she's gonna be sad. But, like, I'm trying to think of, like, who making a request for me to be, like, my wife is, hey, like, when am I gonna see your actual face again? This is my new face now. Hopefully decades from now. If one of my kids is getting married, if my daughter's getting married, if my son is getting married, and somebody requests, like, hey, for the wedding photos, I'm trying to think of, like, a scenario where someone would ask me to and I'd actually do it. Maybe in 20 years, if I'm requested to shave for, like, a wedding photo or something, maybe I would. I don't see the need for me to ever wear a respirator ever again. Maybe if I take up scuba diving or something, maybe it'll become an issue, but I don't know. We'll see. I have no intent to. Hey, new people are getting in every day, Retro. Come on, you know this. New people every day. Dan starts reading chat and instantly skips my messages. Feels bad. Dan, can you show what you're bringing to Dallas so I know what to undercut you on? Look at my store and sort by sub 250. It's gonna be stuff like that. It's not gonna be anything too crazy. How are ComC sales going? At some point, I intend to do a ComC video and a DC Sports video. Maybe I should reach out to them to see if they want to sponsor me, get a little money for making the advertisement. But they're going well. I don't have a lot there. I have a lot of Power Rangers cards that are selling between 10 and 25, 30 bucks a piece. I don't have a whole lot there, though. Let's see. Did I miss the MetaZoo content? No, feel free to ask MetaZoo questions and then it'll be there. You ever end up getting that bet money from the PSA grading thing you had going last year? Yeah, we didn't bet money. We actually bet. I pulled this on stream in my MetaZoo live stream. He sent me a Gym Hero or Gym Heroes. I think this one was, yeah. Gym Heroes pack, and he sent me. It's probably here somewhere. I don't know where it is. He sent me a PSA 10 Unlimited Pikachu, a new PC Grail that I lost somewhere on my desk. My desk has gotten messy again with me grinding out taxes. I've been really bad at keeping up with certain things. There's my PC Grail that I got from James for winning that. Hey, I'm just throwing your comments up on the screen. Is my internet dying or is it the stream? It's probably the stream. I have quite a few dropped frames. I have a lot of dropped frames. Hopefully it's sorting itself out. Oh, I just jumped to the bottom. Hold on. Mr. Walrus did drop the link to the Beerski Cross BB live stream. Appreciate you. I had to pull over on the side of the freeway, put my life on the line for it. Nice to see you, Basic. How's it going? Here we go. Is there a threshold where you have to form some sort of corporation tied to your card sales? Can I just sell as an individual indefinitely if I don't want to bother figuring out how to set up a corporation? I would say that it would not be in your best interest if you were doing... let me Google it really quickly, because Google's my tax advisor. Limit to sole proprietorship annual income. I am fairly certain before these Google results populate, I think you can I think you can make as much, like, I don't think you ever, hey, you're making $1 million a year now, gross sales, profit, like whatever number you want to take it as. I don't think you ever need to. But if you start doing, to me, I've heard other people say different numbers. I think I've heard Not Your Dad CPA, who's an actual CPA, say that it starts to make sense to think about an S corporation at around 40K in like net profit per year. Me personally, per my math, per my non-CPA, non-CFA, any of those acronyms, I kind of thought like 70 to 75,000. Once I was netting 70 to 75,000, I could easily make sense of doing an S corp where my additional like barrier to entry, my initial hurdles that I had to get over, hiring an attorney. Not that I had to hire an attorney. You can self-incorporate. But I paid an attorney like $1,000, $800, somewhere around there. I paid a guy around $800 to incorporate me. All I got was this lousy corporate seal. No, I actually got the benefit of now I pay myself a salary. So I pay myself a salary, and the benefit of an S corp is I pay myself what is deemed a reasonable salary, and on that I pay payroll taxes, about 15.6%, I believe. FICA, you have Social Security, and you're both the employer and the employee. So you're paying both shares of it. If you're an employee, W-2 employee at a company, they pitch in half, you pitch in half. So I'm paying both of those only on my salary. Everything else that I make is a distribution or something, I believe they call it. That is exempt from the 15.6%. So I'm gonna make a video at some point on this in the next few weeks at least, sometime before April 15th, before tax time. Two identical businesses in alternate worlds, realities, universes, whatever. They could do the same thing. Like me today doing everything I do. I could go through 2024 as an S corporation. I could go through 2024 in an alternate reality as a sole proprietor, and say I make $200,000, and say these are made up numbers. Say I make $200,000, and I pay myself a reasonable salary of $50,000 a year. That one sole proprietor Dan, 200,000. That is fully, and I think payroll taxes have a limit at some point. But anyways, that full amount is subject to payroll taxes. Whereas the other Dan, the S Corp Dan, same business, same sales, same buys, same everything, same everything. He only pays payroll taxes 15% on 50 grand. He pays $7,500 on 50 grand for payroll taxes approximately, and then $150,000 is exempt from payroll taxes just because he listened to the experts and consulted with experts who knew the tax code and loophole. Call it a loophole, call it whatever you want. It's strategic tax optimization, and that is the way to do it. Not the way to do it is, I mean, all these people who try to like skirt the laws and try to just everything's friends and family, everything. Like, I can't sell more than 20K on PayPal. I can't do this. I can't do that. I only sell on Instagram. Like, those are the ways to not do it. The ways to do it are like legally. Just the laws are made where a large portion of the people just don't know how to interact with them. So pay someone who knows how. You pay them a little bit of money, and then you save a lot more than you pay them. That's plus EV. And in the hit 90s show Power Rangers Turbo, what Ranger would you be? I definitely watched Power Rangers when I was growing up. I was not like massively into it. I probably did watch a lot of it, but I don't remember it that well. I think I was watching it quite young. I can't say that I have someone that I would be. Pillars of the Hobby insisted crypto was a scam and that WotC would outperform. Thoughts? I mean, if you take... This is one thing I'll say. If you take the bottom half of cryptos versus the bottom half of WotC, like if you take if there was a way, a total crypto index, every shitcoin in there, versus a total WotC thing, it would be interesting. I guess I don't know exactly how it would pan out. Total market would be tough because obviously the largest contributors, your Apples, your things like that in the S&P 500 Dow indexes, those would be like Bitcoin, Ethereum, things that did well. But yeah, in both there were a lot of big losers. In both there were some winners though too. So I have both to an extent. My WotC definitely performed worse than the crypto I chose to have, but a lot of rug pulls in the crypto space over the past few years. So got to be careful painting with too broad of a brush universally. Then I can't wait a year for the color of my star to change. You need to fix that. You're a gold star in my book, Brad. Oh man. Let's see. Yeah, Brad, I'm not going to put your comment on the screen, but I see that. That is something that I'm sure eBay would be monitoring. 0% fees with the ability to earn more than that in rewards. There are definitely ways that people could game that system. I'm not about to risk my whole eBay account over a couple percent. Like, I mean, you could really get extreme with it, and you could probably make a lot of money with it. But eBay would see that. eBay would see that. It would put, like, not good. It would be bad. It would be bad. With the eBay vault giving you 0% fees going forward, will you bring less / none of your 250 plus slabs to shows that usually will sell somewhat under market in person? Yeah, I pretty much, like, if I get a return back or if I buy a collection or whatever it may be, if I have a 250 plus card come into my possession within 2 weeks of a Collecticon, I might intentionally sit on it for 2 weeks, take it to the convention, give it a shot, and then vault it afterwards. But if I have stuff, like, as stuff comes in, it goes to the eBay vault. Like, it is so clean and it's so smooth. It 0% fees. I mean, how could you not? No international. Like, there are definitely a lot of things to fix with it. There's a lot of way they need to go with it. But it's been great. It's been great so far. I've been doing really well with it. So overall, like, yeah, my Collecticon cases will have a lot less stuff over 250. Ooh, Walrus even gives you a 1099 form. Oh man. Save your beer to the Charizard gets it. Rip to all the people buying $15 Power Ranger singles. True collectors, probably. If Dan shades it, it's a top signal. Uh, Takibana says, all the extra work that you gotta do with a corporation sounds like a pain, not gonna lie. I can already barely remember to file my quarterly employment tax and sales and use tax forms. See, I pay people to do that. The thing for me, it was a little bit of work, like, and I mean, I took recommendation from my CPA, like, hey, you're saying, as my CPA, you're saying that I should incorporate because of all the reasons that I just detailed. I don't know how or where to do that. Who would you recommend? So I took their recommendation on, hey, here's this guy. Send him an email. I went and I met with him, and $800 to $1,000, and it was done. And then once that was done, he passed off certain stuff to my accountants, and I have an EIN now. I have all these fancy things I didn't used to have. I don't file any additional paperwork. I pay more money to have everything filed. I pay my accountants. They do my payroll, because you have to have payroll too. So I outsource all that, though. I'm not doing my payroll. I'm not doing all the quarterly corporation returns. And that's why I think, because I'm paying an extra couple grand a year maybe with payroll and with all the filing and all that stuff. So it's no extra work for me, but it's a fair bit of extra cost. When I'm saving 5 figures, like, it's easily worthwhile. But if you're making, like, I believe it's, and I hope I'm not wrong, but I believe not your dad's CPA. And he doesn't say once you start making 40K, you have to do it. I think he said if you're making 40K or more, that's where you'd start to think about it. And me personally, for the numbers that I think, 70 to 75K plus, I think that's where you'd start to think about it for me. Talk to your CPA, talk to your whatever. But yeah, it all depends on your scale. As I always say, we're all at different parts in our journey. We're all in the same arena playing different games, different rules, S-Corp versus sole prop. But I'm not doing any of that extra work. I'm just paying people to do it, and it makes sense. 5 years from now, 10 years from now, like at some point, I might scale back my Pokemon to where it no longer makes sense, and then I need to close the corporation, and I need to, like, however all that works. I don't even fully know how all that works, but I could see a future day where I have to unincorporate or undo certain things, and there'll be some amount of a fee with that. But like the amount of money, the 5 figures, 6 figures worth of money that I save over several years will have been well worth it, and other people are doing that work. Yeah, thanks for asking the question. That's what makes the content. I'm just here to answer some questions. Brody Plays says, anyone had experience with no grade, no charge from PSA for super niche Japanese cards? I've emailed PSA. Anything else you can do? I've never had PSA add anything to the database on my behalf. I have definitely had no grade, no charges. I remember I had it on some like weird Hidden Fates. Hidden Fates used to have, one was more of like a matte finish and one was a little more glossy. That's probably being described really poorly, but it's the best that I can do. Anyways, certain ones were being like declined. I've had things declined over the years. I think certain things they don't grade, but they still charge you at times. I'm not even exactly sure when they charge you, when they don't charge you. But anyways, I've had both. I've never really like gone the next step of trying to get something done about it. I know like Professor Oak, what was the first one to get them to grade old made cards. I don't know what the process is to get new things added, really. There's probably YouTube videos out there about it. There's probably people talking in Discord about it. I'm not your guy for that, though, unfortunately. Looking 92 says, question, how strict is the eBay vault when determining what cards are worth $250 and above if little to no comps for, like a signed voice actor that might not be worth much? Everything is like, as of right now, I think as time goes on, eBay will have more of their own database of like card values and stuff, and certain things might get rejected. Like, hey, no, 10 of these sold the past week for $100. You're not sending that in. But as you said, there will still be exceptions. There will still be niche things. There will still be fringe cases. So a lot of it's self-reported. I would not advise it, but theoretically, you could self-report a card at $250, $300, send it in, and then list it as a buy it now for $300. you can list it as a buy it now for 100 or 50. I mean, I had certain cards that went in, some of my own, some of my consigners, they went in during the Japanese that whole thing that went on last June, and cards that were 300, 400 went down to like 80. I mean, and whether they were auctioned, because that's another thing you can do. You can send cards in and you can auction them. I think I've auctioned cards that were selling as a buy it now at one point for over 250, auctioning at one point for over 250. I've sold some for like $50 in eBay Vault. I would not break the rules. I would not try to like intentionally get around it. I think you'll be better off just auctioning or selling those things like out of the eBay Vault. What are we talking about? Like, I mean, 12% on $200. Like, I would just pay the $24. Me personally, I don't think it's worthwhile trying to go around that. That's just me. That's my thoughts. I'm sure that some people are probably gaming the system a little bit. As with any system that's ever existed anywhere, people will be there to game it. I'm gonna introduce a vault soon too. It'll just be my car's glove compartment. Takibana says 40 to 50K net profit would end up being like what, 200K gross sales, typically speaking. I mean, 40 to 50K on 200K. Obviously, if it's 40K, it's 20% margins. If it's 50K, it's 25% margins. 20 to 25% margins aren't unreasonable. I think there's some people in the hobby that make a lot more than that. I know there's some people in the hobby that make a lot less than that. I mean, on my consignments, I make 1 to 4% margin, 1 to 4% net on what the sale price is, right? A little bit less than that because I'm shipping them to the vault. I have some fees in with that, fees to move money around and stuff. But I definitely have aspects of my business that fall within the 20 to 25% margin. I have aspects that are way above that, way below that. So what the average is in this space, I have no idea. I have no idea what the average person's margins are, but 20 to 25 feels reasonable enough, let's say. If I'm making hundreds in my 90 days, should this be a hobby like my mom says? Walrus, I would not go by what your mom says. I would go by what the IRS says, what some greater authority says. And a lot of people, tons of people in this space, and I'm going to make videos ranting on it over the next few weeks because it's peak tax time. It's peak people, not everybody, but some amount of people are on YouTube trying to figure out, like, what do I do with this 1099? What are taxes? How do they work? I'm going to try to get in that seasonality of the YouTube space searches. But per the IRS, you are intending to profit. You are doing business, right? Like, you might be losing money. You might not be making money, but if you're intending to, you're buying items with intent for resale, you should not be paying sales tax. You are intending to make money in this space. You are operating as a business. Tons of people are doing themselves a disservice. People that say fee bay, people that so fear taxes and fees, not just educating themselves on the so many doors open up once you become a small business owner, whether that's a side hustle, whether that's full-time. So many things are allowed to be written off. Like, some people might not understand what I'm saying. You can make money legally, fully above board, while on paper, like, losing money or breaking even. I mean, certain things that you'd have anyways, like business use of home is there. You're going you're going nearby to the post office anyways, but now you can write off the miles of the post office. You can write off a computer, a printer, certain things you may have bought anyways, but now they're being bought primarily for the business, and some amount of your cell phone that you're using. If you're doing it off the books, if you're doing this all below board, like the wrong way, you're using a phone, you can't write off any of that that phone. I write off a percentage. Like, some percent of my phone usage is personal. I can't write that off. A large portion of my phone usage is business. So part of my business, part of my internet, large portions of things that I would have and do anyways, because they're critical to my business, now become write-offs. One thing too, and this is only because I'm full-time and not a side hustler part-timer anymore, but when you are a W-2 employee at a 9-to-5 job, if you're driving 2 hours to get there, if you're like, whatever you're doing, whatever you're driving, that's your commute. You can't write that off. If you're doing above and beyond that, your company might reimburse you. You might be able to claim something. But once you're a self-employed individual, every time I go when I drive to the airport, fly, everything that I do related to the business, even though like some of it's technically my commute, it's a write-off as a business. And write-offs don't just instantly make you money. It's not like you write off 10 grand and you make 50 grand because of writing off 10 grand. Like people just have not everybody, but a large portion of people have no idea how taxes work whatsoever. And it's kind of crazy. Definitely going to be some rant videos, some educational videos in the coming weeks on that. Started Looking wants to know, I thought this was me for a second. I did do a little Naruto, but never booster boxes. Zard Looking wants to know what other TCGs Walrus likes. He's a Digimon guy too. Liquidity. Liquidity is one thing that's like very underrated, undervalued, underappreciated by people that are Pokemon only. I mean, I used to be a MetaZoo partner. I bought that one collection that had Dragon Ball Z Score and Naruto and Yu-Gi-Oh! And all kinds of stuff. We take for granted, and I take for granted less now, the liquidity of Pokemon because it is obscene relative to everything else. Oh, chat's always funny. Sorry, I'm just looking for the next questions. So much chat going on, but I don't see any more questions. You would need to consult with a CPA for this. I don't know how that works, but I live 3 blocks from my post office. Can I write off a pair of walking shoes since I walk there 5 to 6 times a week? I mean, I feel like there's a good argument to be made for that. I would not be able to make that to make any statement on that though, as far as whether or not. I've been in conversations with people though, whether at Collecticon, it's same Dan. Like we talk about taxes, we talk about 401ks and IRAs and all that good stuff when I'm in person at conventions. But I've been in conversations with people. I've read conversations on Reddit. I've overheard things at the water cooler back where I used to work. I've read things in Discord. People like, oh, he probably writes off this. He probably writes off that. As if it would be like a stretch. Like, so many people just have no idea how things work. It's like, he probably even writes off his hotel at Collecticon. Absolutely, I write off my hotel at Collecticon. Absolutely, all my travel, all my everything. Everything bought with intent for resale. Everything. There's two, I'm not a tax guy, but I'm trying to remember. Anything ordinary and necessary, I believe, are the two checkboxes, basically. Anything ordinary and necessary. So I can't go and try to write off like a snowmobile. I can't buy a snowmobile on my business. Not ordinary for a card business to own a snowmobile. It's not necessary either. So a snowmobile would not check either two boxes. But like a label printer, part of my phone bill, because I mean I use this thing for Discord and Instagram and emails and everything. I use this thing for all my social media and a lot of my eBay messages, and some people list on their phone and all that. So anything ordinary and necessary, computers, any kind of office supply, and any kind of ordinary and necessary expense, I believe are the two things. I can't wait to write off the beers I bought you in Houston. Thanks, ARS. Our beers, I'm not going to answer this, but are beers ordinary? Are beers necessary? I'll ask those two questions. I mean, I used to work at a company, and I used to do a little bit of business travel. And with business travel, we used to have certain allowances. If it's breakfast, if it's lunch, if it's dinner, certain managers used to go with a group of buddies, and certain managers would be more lenient on what could and couldn't be because they wanted a full itemized. They wanted a full itemized thing. They wanted a list of all the names that were there, and certain ones were more lenient with what beverages at dinner were allowable, and maybe how many of what types of beverages were allowable. And then if you have a customer there, all the limits go up because now you're networking. Now you're trying to get a customer, and yeah, I mean, entertainment, food, all those things have certain allowances, and they have certain things that you can do. those are decisions and things to discuss with your accountant and figure out what are ordinary and necessary. You can write off a lot of things if you get creative. Wink, wink. Not even getting creative. I mean, you can write off a ton of things without even getting creative. One thing I always say, consult experts, but going further than that, you need to consult competent experts that are aggressive. Let's say aggressive. Again, not your dad's CPA. I watch a ton of his content. It's great content. It is underwatched in our space. From time to time, I've been in a live stream, usually not watching it live, but watching it past. I've heard and seen some of the same names that I see in some of these Pokemon live chats. So some people are going over to not your dad's CPA. But he will say, I mean, his as crazy as it sounds, sometimes a CPA will tell you, my interpretation of this IRS guideline is XYZ. Like one of the big things that happened back in 2019, I believe it was, the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. That fundamentally changed how small businesses who have inventories function. I mean, it used to be if you had an inventory, largely you had to be accrual basis for your accounting. You had to maintain an inventory, start inventory, end inventory, cost of goods sold, all that good stuff. Now you can be cash basis. If you do under like 25 million in annual sales, like gross sales, you can be cash basis. And for the first year or two, there were certain accounts. I found videos on YouTube from 2019, 2020, 2021, where certain accountants said, if you have inventory, you have to be accrual basis. You cannot do this. They said certain accountants are being reckless. Certain accountants, they were being too cautious. There were good accountants out there. There were aggressive accountants out there going to bat for their clients, and they were interpreting the law, fully logical, reasonable explanation for it, and they were allowing their clients to be cash basis. And it's not for everybody. There's no universal best between accrual and cash basis, but just knowing, and now the IRS has issued further guidelines that have cemented and confirmed the exact situations and specifics of when you can be cash basis and when you have to be accrual basis. So some people in this space, the way they interact, the way they do business, they have to be accrual by the new guidance, but others don't. And there was a time in there where it was a little more murky. It's still fairly murky. Like you'll still hear certain accountants. I mean, you probably won't hear it because you're probably not looking for that content, but I do. You'll probably still hear certain accountants today saying that no, as a Pokemon business, buying, selling, maintaining an inventory, grading cards, doing everything you're doing, you have to be accrual basis. As far as I understand, as far as accountants that I've talked to, as far as more competent, aggressive, whatever you want to call it, there are definitely a lot of accountants that are fully on board with that, done the right way. So yeah. Question, my name is Walking Ad. Where's my check? I will catch up to you. At any Collecticon where we cross paths, there will be multiple beverages purchased. I appreciate you, Mr. Walrus. 4% to 1% variable consignments available. Let's see. Walrus, you could sell ice to an Eskimo. Mr. Walrus says, I look for your finance channel every night before bed. I know you made it already. Admit it. I promise you, I have not yet made a barbecue channel nor a finance channel. I have not made a channel of any other kind yet, but someday they'll come. And they'll probably come secretly, at least for some amount of time. I'll probably try to get up several videos before I unleash the fury that is my Pokemon following on those channels. When does the good content start? Now, because we have Kai Oak Bacon. The Kai Oak Bacon in chat. PokeChef954 says, some of the cards mailed through eBay do not switch over to delivered. eBay mailer, $20 or less. How do you navigate that? I'm not sure how fast customers are getting cards in the mail. Lost a card. So after 30 days, if your eBay standard envelope, for anyone unfamiliar, eBay standard envelope is a plain white envelope service that is tracked. So instead of having to throw a nice little stamp on there, we got the nice Valentine's Day red heart stamp there. Instead of having to put a stamp on there, you actually buy a label through eBay, same cost as a stamp. It's like 63, 66 cents, whatever it is, and it's tracked. The tracking is not great. A lot of times it'll show delivered a day before it's actually delivered, or 2 days before, or maybe the day after. Sometimes it never does. But if you have an issue, if you have a buyer claiming they never got it, and unfortunately you have this weird dead zone where maybe 10 days after they bought it, they're mad. They don't have it. They want their money back. Kind of need to play it by ear. You kind of need to, like, maybe you refund them, keep them happy. But if it gets to 30 days and it has not shown delivered, just search on Google, search eBay standard envelope insurance. There's a way to claim. I think they pay you back through PayPal. eBay used to own PayPal, then they spun off PayPal. They still have all these linkages to PayPal, which are kind of weird. You think they just pay you back to your eBay balance? Maybe they do now, but fairly recently they were still paying you through PayPal. But anyways, not just for the postage. So say you sold something for $19.99 and it got lost in the mail, never got delivered. You can get fully reimbursed for the total sale price. So yeah, go check that out. If you have any eBay standard envelopes over 30 days, I have a spreadsheet that I just like put up in the corner. I put the date. So if I refund somebody for a sub 20 thing, I put the date and then the track, like a link to the tracking. So that once it's hit a month, I go in, and it's probably between 30 and 45 or 30 and 90 days. There's probably an upper bound to that. I don't know what the upper bound is. But yeah, you can go and you can claim and you can get that money back. eBay Standard Envelope is an amazing service. I don't sell a ton on TCG Player, but I do a little bit. Hopefully that comes to TCG Player, because eBay did buy TCG Player, and yeah. See, that's the thing. That's the thing. Lawnmowers are a decent part of my branding. Lawnmowers, maybe someday you'll start to see my lawnmower in content. I mean, I've had a lot of people asking me for lawnmower content. Maybe I start making some shorts, mowing the lawn, ripping some packs. You might see some new style content coming soon, because someone might need a new lawnmower. My lawnmower is getting pretty rough. I probably need a new one. It's going on, this is going to be its 11th year in service. So who knows? I mean, I'll talk to my accountant. He's pretty aggressive. Maybe if the mower is very integral to my brand. Maybe if I make, this is a Quaxley shirt. This is an actual Pokemon shirt. But maybe if I make an actual shirt with like a mower on it, maybe mower emojis in my chat. I'm not saying that I'm going to do this, but like maybe theoretically there would be a way where a lawnmower could be written off even. Who knows? Who knows? I don't do beard oil. I grow a beard. I'm less growing a beard. I've said this a million times. I'm less growing a beard. I'm more just not shaving. I used to have to shave, being an engineer, having to wear a full face respirator. I had to be clean shaven. So I don't have to anymore. So I don't. I like the shortest amount of time, like minimal upkeep. Minimal upkeep is my preferred. Dan, can you start some YouTube drama or something? It's been like a whole week since the last drama thing. YouTube dry as hell right now. I don't even know what the last one was. Yeah, MetaZoo was like popping for a couple weeks there. Must have been 2 weeks ago, right? My last live stream. MetaZoo was popping for that week, but I think it's probably died down by now. I like it. I like it. I'm catching up on a bunch of live streams I missed over the past few weeks, and do you need an accountant? You absolutely do not need an accountant. If you are someone who is fairly well versed in how taxes work and all that, I think the average person, the average American is not. But I don't think it takes much tax knowledge to be more well versed than the average American with respect to taxes. But it all depends on scale, what you're doing. If you are accidentally, fraudulently filing years and years of returns to your benefit, someday that might come back to bite you. Through an audit, maybe you owe a bunch of penalties, maybe you owe a bunch of interest and all that. But it could go the other way too. You might be doing the wrong things. So if an accountant, on the low end, I could see certain side hustle, sole proprietors, there are probably situations where people are filing for as little as $300 to $400, like maybe even lower. Maybe for $200, certain people could have their taxes done with an accountant. My first year doing it, I want to say I paid like $500. That was several years ago. In inflation, whatever, probably would have been like $700, equivalent to today. I'm paying a couple grand now because that includes payroll, that includes all the corporate stuff, a lot of quarterly filings and all that. But I could see many situations where it's simple enough, people just do it themselves. But I could see tons of situations where it's simple enough, people do it themselves, and they do it horribly wrong. And maybe they're costing themselves more than an accountant would have costed. It all depends on how well versed you are and all that. And then do you keep up on it? Because like 2019, Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, big changes with respect to a lot of things. Everyone's situation is different. So you definitely don't need one, but a lot of people would benefit from one. L-Dub says, I bought thousands of dollars of gift cards through TCG Player during their 20% special last year, which I wrote off as a purchase. Can I then use the gift cards for write-off purchases? Absolutely not. You cannot... You cannot, I'm assuming this is a meme question, but yeah, you're buying the gift cards, and then you're exchanging those gift cards. You're trading those gift cards for cards, right? Like, that's definitely not this one trick the IRS hates, one trick tax, CPAs love, or whatever you want to call it. Definitely not a thing. I got receipts collectibles. Barbecue channel needs to be ASAP. I need to start doing it on Instagram more. I don't feel like I can measure up to Charlie. Charlie goes in waves. Charlie collects on Instagram. He posts some very solid food. You got Chef out here posting actual like fine cuisine made at his restaurant. But I feel like I can't measure up there. But I do post stuff in Discord a fair bit. I made some solid brisket, burn ends, some solid smoked dip for the Super Bowl. I need to start doing a little bit of that on Instagram. Definitely, I need to be better about posting on Instagram as a whole. I'm really bad about it. I do it like once or twice a week tops. Probably once a week is my standard. Just my short or whatever I do on Friday, which I forgot to do last weekend. I saw that. I actually listened to that before this stream too. I did a beer ski live, and then I did the Slab podcast, which had Josh filling in for Oak. Collabs are good. I mean, he shouted out both your channels right up at the front too, while everyone was still watching. So you guys should see a little bit of a sub bump maybe. Barbecue channel ruined when viewers see you not seasoning food and a glass of milk with your first meal. Salt, I'm in hefty amounts of salt. Salty, fatty foods are the best foods. I heavily season. My own custom rubs, my own custom barbecue sauce that I make. Seasoning is a big component. Do you have an idea for a future Pokemon that you'd like to see created? I am not creative at all. There's already so many memes about there's keys, there's ice cream, there's like they're running out of ideas. Maybe they're just having fun with it. I don't know. I have no ideas. I'm not creative. I'm a big fan of this duck. There's not a ton of. I mean, there's Psyduck, there's Quaxley, there's Golduck. There's probably a lot of ducks that I'm missing. But I was a fan of this duck. Came out of nowhere, won me over. They're doing better than I could do. So I don't have any suggestions to add. It was funny. Nick and I we had a Pokeflips where we were asked what type evolution should they make, and maybe that would be my contribution. I think they should add more. When was the last time they added more? Sylveon and Leafeon, Glaceon. I forget which one was added when, but Nick proposed, hey, they should add a dark type evolution, like Umbreon exists, Gen 2. Yeah, like give us a little bit dark maybe, but a ghost type evolution. Give us a poison type evolution. Like maybe Leafeon is like leaf poison, grass poison. I don't know. But yeah, I think just filling out the evolutions would be my first suggestion. Why don't we get another couple evolutions in there? Tons of people love them. I guess I do have a contribution. Paint Eevee a different color. Round Advantage went up like 20 cents and PWE only went up 1 cent. eBay lit. eBay standard envelope is amazing. Lawnmower merch. Do you prefer the beard look over shave, or truly you just don't care? I've already got a wife. I'm already off the market. I'm not trying to appeal to anybody. I really don't care either way. It literally is just like a morning routine / maintenance thing. I want to do, not that I want to do nothing. Like, I'm trying to be good. I'm trying to lose weight. But I think looking back at pictures of me, and it's probably because I'm biased towards like what I look like now, I feel like I look better with a beard. I feel like I look better with a beard. I actually have a wedding photo right in front of me under my monitor here. Look like babyface Dan right there. I think I look better. But I'm not overly concerned. The wife definitely prefers clean shaven, maybe a little bit of stuff, but I think she's a little bit concerned that she'll like never see clean face Dan again. Which maybe she will, maybe she won't. I don't know. Do you have TCG Player Direct? No, TCG Player is actually a thing that I have on my list for this year, among so many other things that I want to get back into a little bit more. TCG Player, not even TCG Player Direct necessarily. I want Story or Products. So Troll and Toad Evo, which is kind of up in the air right now, I got extended a little bit. It was supposed to be February 1st. I was supposed to be booted off, right? If you go to trollandtoad.com right now, your boy Catch 'em All Collectibles has some cards there still. They've extended me some amount. Will they keep me forever? I have no idea. I'm going to try to beg and plead for them to keep me to some extent. But if they don't, TCG Player, Story, or Products would be the next closest thing. I use DC Sports, I use ComC, I use all these other things. But yeah, outsourcing some of the storage, outsourcing some of the labor, it's huge. Huge. I don't want to scale through directly hiring W-2 employees. Someday, could I have 1099 independent contractors? Maybe. I mean, I already have a lot of people that work for me. I have a lot of people at Troll and Toad that work for me. I have a lot of people at eBay Vault that work for me. I have a lot of people. I consign cards through, again, DC Sports. I've consigned cards through Nick. Consigned cards through, Retro. Retro sold some Dragon Ball Z. Retro, shout out Retro. If you want some Japanese booster boxes, Shiny Treasures, awfully cheap. Reach out to Retro Specs. He's acquired. Obviously he's buying it. I'm buying it from him. He's just flipping it for margin. But he's in a way he's working on my Japanese product acquisition, right? Me paying him is almost him just working for the business to some extent, right? Auction the mower. Oh man. I'll buy a shirt with Dan and the mower on it with a typo. Oh man. Let's go, Dan. I mean, you could do a short casting a fishing rod and a reel in a Celebrations Charizard. You're welcome for the free content idea. I'm gonna write that down. That's actually really good. You know one thing, Brad, you let me down. I was waiting for you to say something about it. How did it go? Maybe he didn't watch. Maybe he was so appalled by me creating merch that he didn't watch till the end. But in the middle of my merch video, I talked about how it's been so, like, I don't even go fishing anymore. At some point, I want to get back into fishing. But, like, me being the humble fisherman, that whole meme, that whole thing on my channel, and then me in a video stating that I don't even fish anymore. I thought Brad was going to jump right on that. I was waiting for Brad to timestamp it, call up all the call out content creators. I thought he was going to be on my case, and he wasn't. That was funny. But that would be I can't find a pen. There's a Sharpie. That would be a good one though. Wearing, so it's got to be from like the back, from behind, wearing the Catch 'em All Collectibles humble fisherman shirt. Reel it back in. Yeah, I can picture it. So I might have to cut out this portion of the live stream Only 54 of us will know. I know it's dark, folks, but that's no excuse to not hit the like button. Appreciate you, Retro. Dan, if I made a hit piece video about you, would you get salty? I mean, all your comments in live streams, all your comments in Discords are, I mean, they're just entirely hit piece. So it's like, what would a video do? It wouldn't be that much further. I'm a second Dan hit piece. Why is my display pic orange when I come up? Yeah, I don't know why that. I don't know why your picture's not coming through. That's weird. Everyone hit that subscribe button and get Robot Dan to 4,740 likes. Appreciate you, Zard Lurking. If you were to buy a booster case of a Sword and Shield set to hold on to long term, which would you choose? I made a video. A few months back about putting. I put that I spent 100,000. I was kind of cheating a little bit. I think I only spent like 50,000 on Pokemon and then like 50,000 on the S&P 500. I forget what the exact numbers were, but I detail it in that video. I mean, instead of being theoretical, which would I choose? Look at what I actually did choose. I mean, some of those prices have moved substantially now. I think I bought Evolving Skies at around 380, and now it's like 540 or something crazy. I think I bought Chilling Reign at like 130, 140, and now it's like towards 180. I can't believe how high those things have gotten just since I bought them a few months ago. Hindsight, obviously, just like my video I just made on Monday, I wish I had bought a lot more, but I could have just put it all in Bitcoin and had more liquidity and made, yeah. Anyways, it's always easy. Monday morning quarterback. But today, all things considered, I actually have, just like the comment earlier, I bought a ton. I have like $5,000 in TCG Player store credit and gift cards. I get all my payouts on TCG Player still in store credit because I sell so minimally compared to what I buy on there typically, but I haven't bought like since like Black Friday when I bought all those gift cards. So yeah, I might buy a few more Sword and Shield booster cases. It's weird though, because it's like I can still get a lot of them, not all of them, at distribution, but only 1 or 2 boxes a week. It's this really weird situation. But yeah, I'm trying to pull up. What the prices are because it's relative to the price. Like I probably wouldn't buy Evolving Skies. I only bought 1 or 2 cases because I had 0 and I wanted a little bit. I should just go to like Pokedata. Pokedata has sealed Pokemon product. But I would try to buy one in the 120 to 130 price point that I can't get at distribution anymore. I don't know what would fit that criteria, but there's probably a set or two. I haven't looked at my distributor this week to see what I can get, so I'm probably not going to state one specifically, but it would be one that was in like the 120 to 140 range probably that I can't get at my distributor anymore. Even though I can only get 2 a week or whatever, like them being accessible at my distributor is just a metric that I wouldn't want to I wouldn't want to buy those ones. I just completely screwed up where I had everything when I was trying to search Pokedata. Yeah, thanks for taking the time to ask a question. Appreciate it. L-Dubs was the one trying to double dip. Retro's trying to get the epitome, like your cardboard hands, but he has paper hands. He has whatever the thinnest 1-ply paper is. That is by nature ZNG Emporium, right? Auctions everything. Though he did dip into the buy now. He's encroaching on the turf. I had to go and I had to undercut James. Let me oh no, where'd I put it? I don't have it here. Do I have it here? I have it here. So yeah. James went and stepped into the buy it now space. So I had to beat him. Maybe a little bit of YouTube drama to report on, Brad. I didn't see it. I didn't see it come up on the other internet police creators that we have out there. But I have seen certain titles on ZNG Emporium videos with words like lowest used Maybe at the time they were posted, but I mean, check out those rates I just showed you. I don't think James are the lowest anymore. Check them out. Feel free to DM or email if you want to consign. I'm not gonna say my rates are the lowest. That's all I'll say. I don't want to say lowest because I don't want to open myself up to any litigation down the line if someone undercuts me. About 10 minutes to go. I'm gonna try to get fully caught up to chat, and I'm gonna be ending relatively soon. Appreciate everyone hanging out. Do we have a totally invisible Pokemon? I don't think so. I mean, there's probably some that can turn themselves invisible, right? Tell us more about the Dan barbecue secret sauce. So depending on what I'm eating, I really like one of my favorite barbecue sauces growing up was Bullseye. Just like a very traditional oh man, what Carolina style are the more vinegary ones. Why am I'm losing what region? What region of barbecue sauce are those? Like one heavily in brown sugar. I can't even think what Kansas City style, like a Kansas City style barbecue sauce. Yeah, that was the term, the word I was looking for. Carolina style barbecue sauces are a lot more vinegary, and I do have a good Carolina style, and I prefer that on certain things at certain times if I'm in the mood for that. But my go to barbecue sauce is a Kansas City style, like think Bullseye, think Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce is another big, just very commercialized, wide-reaching barbecue sauce brand. That's the style that mine is. But it's done my own way. That's my favorite. And then a Carolina one that's like a lot of similar ingredients, but then a lot of like apple cider vinegar to go with it. And that just works better with certain things. I would not be washing down my barbecue. There would be no drinks. If any drinks were there, it would be IPAs probably. Once Dan picked Quaxley as his starter, I knew he'd never go viral. New dark fire type. Could go for that. Houndoom. Houndour. Solid. I do not know any pals in Pal World. I have not played the game. I've not really done anything with it. Um, I play old school RuneScape. That consumes all my time, and some Minecraft. Some Minecraft with my son. 10 minutes behind chat, so I'm gonna try to get caught up. Um, Johnny Intellion says, I've been listing cards every day. I'm at 5,500 cards listing, mostly bulk. If you were me, how would you meet the requirement, such as 100 plus transactions a month, averaging 600 a week? I mean, I don't know where you're at right now, but you need to get like source a bunch of playables. Try to find people that you can buy a ton of playables with. Like if you're lacking in the transactions a month, buy a bunch of nest balls. Buy a bunch like and these might not be the proper cards, but going back to when I used to sell playables more, Versus Seekers, Phantom Forces, Max Elixirs from Breakpoint, I think that was. So whatever the playable cards are, get them. Get some Pikachus, get some Charizards, get things that sell in very, very high volume on TCG Player. TCG Player does articles like once a month of high demand cards that are low inventory, low quantity that they need more of. Check those out. If it's more of a dollar thing, put a little sealed product on there. Maybe you sell like 600 a week. I mean, that's a case. That's a case of booster boxes. You're already doing something. Are you doing 200, 300, 400? If you only need a couple hundred more, it's not going to be the ideal thing, and hopefully you can scale at some point to where you don't need to do this. Sell a booster box or two for a slight loss. Like if you need to sell a booster box a week for a slight loss to be able to get you over the hurdle to get into direct, which is going to help your sell through, like there are strategies for kind of like short term getting over that hump and then like not needing to do it anymore in the future. Those are just my thoughts. uh um You not being a real actual fisherman is known information. No need for me to jump, Dan. Hey, I'm a lifetime license holder in New York State. I can go fishing anytime, anywhere, as long as the fish I'm after is in season. um, I've got more if you want, Dan. We can write a contract. I'll be your content manager. 1099s only, no W-2s. I don't want to get called out for hiring employees, but independent contractors aren't employees, so who knows? Who knows what the future could bring? Silverhawk says, how much would an hour of consulting from you on TCG/business structure cost? I don't really advertise it heavily. But I do it through there's a tier in the Patreon. $50 for half an hour, including the $10 a month Patreon. So it's like $40 additional, or $100 for an hour. So I have a lot of people who just don't want to deal with the whole Patreon thing. They don't want to do it monthly. They just might want to do it one-off. Certain people that I do have them through the Patreon, and they do it every month. They do a quick call. But yeah, I do $50 for half an hour, $100 for an hour. Sometimes I go a 3-month span without doing any. Sometimes I do 4 in a week. I've done all different kinds of topics. I've looked at collections for people. I've looked at collections that people were selling themselves. How would you price this? How would you go about learning how to price this? What would you grade? What would you not grade? With what company would you grade them? So I've done consults like that. I've done consults bordering into like, when should I be an S Corp? Like, I always say it's like a funnel. There's tiers. I do so much free content on YouTube. I'm so accessible in my Instagram DMs, in YouTube. You're not going to get nearly the extent, nearly the personalized answer. But top of the funnel, all my free content, YouTube, Pokeflips, all that stuff's there. I'm accessible. Right now, I've been live for an hour and a half doing a Q&A. Very public Q&A. Patreon, link down below, $10 a month. You can DM me on Discord. You can ask questions in the help and advice section in there. I might answer it. Other people might answer it. A little more personalized. 1 hour a week, you can do Q&A with either me, office hours we call them, or with Jake, and whoever else goes there. And then once a month, we do the Zoom Q&A tied in with like a presentation. So top of the funnel is like where I'm available free everywhere. Middle of the funnel is Patreon, it's there. And then bottom of the funnel is like personalized one-on-one consults. Most questions that people ask me in consults, I've answered for free elsewhere. But the thing is, it's like, how much do you value your time? I value my time at $100 an hour. That's why that's what I charge, right? But some people might have to spend 10 hours wading through content, finding a 2-year-old Pokeflips where I answered the question they're going to ask. But now it's not relevant anymore because like the market's changed, things have changed. So yeah, it's there. Some people get really butthurt that people in the space charge for their time to do one-on-one consults. That's partially why I don't advertise it a ton. But another reason why I partially don't is because like I do a ton of tasks where I make significantly less than $100 an hour. But I do a fair few tasks where I make a lot more than that too. I'm happy to do consults for $100 an hour. But if I ever got to the point where I was doing too many, I'd either raise my price or I'd just cap how many I do. I mean, I'd probably do some combination of both. So yeah, if you're interested, DM me on Instagram or Discord or wherever, or email me, however you want to go about it. Sometimes I do them through Discord, sometimes through Zoom, however you want to go about it. Retro's on that Bitcoin pump. Brad, here you go, Brad. I gave you your drama. Bullseye barbecue sauce. What did I say earlier? Sweet Baby Ray's is one that I said. Was Bullseye the other one I said? Because that was one that I had a lot growing up. Sup, man? Typically watch your longer videos, but now I'm joining into you researching barbecue sauce. Yeah, the lives can go anywhere. In my office hours yesterday, and some people maybe loved it, some people maybe hated it, but it's like I just answer the questions that people ask me. This is like my childhood sports card collection. We were going through at the end. We were going through like my old Jeff Gordon sports card collection. At some point, I need to make some content with them or show them off somewhere. I have sports cards of me from when I was in like Little League that my parents purchased like some photo package through my team through the team photography thing. I'm actually on trading cards, and back in like between 3rd and 6th grade, the glasses that I had, like the trendy styles, even I've never been one on top of trends, one's in style. But back then, bigger glasses were more of a thing. But like I'm like mine were not ones that would have been trendy then or now or ever. Nothing about anything I wear or do is fashionable or stylish. But some of those pictures of me on my Pop Warner team, my Little League team, some of my trading cards are awesome. They're hilarious. Flip Flop says, Dan, Fusion World booster box from 84 to 187 on TCG Player, and the TCG did not launch yet till next week. Pre-release Friday. Are you ready? So Flip Flop's on the pump. I'm not buying any. What distributors have it? And do you need a brick and mortar? If you need a brick and mortar, I'm out. Like I can't touch it, so I'm not gonna do anything with it. I do have access though. I do buy One Piece. I buy One Piece because it's there. It's accessible to me. My wife's just sleeping. Hopefully she's not watching right now. Hopefully she's actually sleeping and getting better. But yeah, Valentine's Day, I mean, we actually intended to, we were going to go out to dinner as a family, and then probably we're going to like play some board games, watch a movie with a wife, and then she's sick, so I'm like, I need to do my live either tonight or tomorrow night. I think there's like multiple people. I think PK always does a Thursday night one now. I think Java might be live tomorrow night. Probably other ones too. Like there's probably 5 people live tomorrow night. So I just went live tonight. I do have distro for One Piece. I'm just taking my allocation and selling it immediately, pretty much. Flip Flop is on that pump. How much do you regularly spend on shipping? So I just did my like. Are you talking about annually? I just did my taxes. Oops. I just did my taxes. I can. What is this stupid thing doing? I'm trying to open up my thing, and then Google's jumping in with all these suggestions for searching. I don't want to search. I just want to go to my spreadsheet. Hopefully, I'm not sharing the spreadsheet on the screen. I can tell you how much I spent on shipping all in 2023, if you're interested. Where is it? That's 2021. I spent $35,376.59 on shipping in 2023, which I think was down. No, it was up. It was up. Like my sales were up significantly. But yeah, how much do I typically spend on shipping? Maybe you were asking how much do you spend on like shipping one card for something, USPS Ground Advantage. How much do you spend on eBay Standard Envelope? 60 something cents. How much do like I pay at the discounted eBay rates. If I'm doing USPS for TCG Player, or if I'm doing UPS in general, Pirate Ship is what I use. Unless it's eBay, then I use eBay UPS rate. I don't know exactly what you were asking with that, but hopefully I answered it in one of those. Man, Dan's beard shape is top notch. It's reached garden gnome status, and I love it. It's getting to the point, and I've talked about this before, where when I'm eating, I end up chewing on it accidentally. I'm eating chicken wings and maybe whatever it may be. Somehow I get the mustache in and I end up chewing on it. It's got to go soon. It's messy. I need to go to the bathroom and wash my whole face after eating like brisket, after eating like I had a monster brisket sandwich and I had a bunch of pork belly burnt ends, and I had wings actually. Just last night we went to family's house for a little family get together for a birthday, and chicken wings. Chicken wings are a mess. I gotta wash my whole face, soap and water, because it's like hot sauce in the beard everywhere. Before Dallas, it will get a hefty trim. Right now it's nice though. It's nice for winter. I've got to go stand outside, pick up my son from school. It's cold, so I got my nice Catch 'em All Collectibles merch on, my nice beanie. Then I got the beard to cover the face, and But yeah, the beard's definitely going to be taking a step backwards. It's not going to get as big as it did last February. Last February, it was wild. I'm interested in the MetaZoo Valentine MetaZoo. I mean, I could open this, actually, for me at least, East Coast, Valentine's Day's over. But maybe I'll crack this to end the stream. I don't even know what is even in it. I don't know what the chase is. Maybe we'll rip that. Flip Flap is sold retro on Dragon Ball Z, whatever the new one. I need a red pointy hat. I'm not paying Patreon, lol. I mean, come on, $10. What's that when you're making all this money in Dragon Ball, all this money in One Piece? Please show the Dan rookie card. The Dan rookie card is very meme worthy. There's a baseball one. I think the Little League one I had contacts. I want to say I got contacts in 6th grade, but between 3rd grade and 6th grade, I had some. I used to jokingly. I think once I got out of them, I jokingly called them like my goggle days. I had some goggles. I had some goggles on between like 3rd grade and 5th grade, and I had a bowl cut for part of that. Maybe the whole thing. I don't know, but bowl cut and goggles. Just picture that. Big gap in my teeth, like Bucktooth Dan. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. Did Jeff Gordon have any Grail? I've looked it up a couple times. That this was something that I talked about last night in my my office hour at the end. Throughout the pandemic, throughout all the insanity that was the 2021-2020 bubble, there are some Jeff Gordon cards that are like serialized to 24 that go for a couple grand, but like very low liquidity, very niche. NASCAR cards are very down the rabbit hole, very niche compared to like the other big sports and stuff. Bullseye's a solid sauce. Dan's baseball card better make it on a thumbnail one day. Yeah, I'll have to deliver some high resolution scans to Ernesto. Maybe I'll bring my my rookie cards to a convention so that I can just show it late night to people. Make sure they don't have any recording devices underway. But yeah, just flash them to people at conventions and stuff. They're funny. Maybe I'll just post them to my Instagram. Put it as my avatar. You promote MetaZoo a lot. You should have been a partner and done videos when they were alive. Monthly MetaZoo videos were a thing. I forget how long that was a thing. Maybe for a whole year? Maybe for only 6 months? I don't know. I didn't have braces, no. I never have liked my teeth. I think my teeth are pretty bad, but they're relatively straight, I guess, so I never had to have braces, but let's see. Looks like I'm fully caught up. I'm a big fan of Frank's Red Hot too. Frank's Red Hot is solid. I actually have I have my own around me for chicken wings. Everything sauce. A lot of people call it everything sauce. Some places put everything in it. They put hot sauce, they put honey mustard, they put barbecue, they put every little bit of every sauce they make. Most places that have everything sauce around me, like a wing sauce, it's blue cheese and it's like buffalo sauce. Hot sauce, depending on if it's hot or if it's mild, it's hot sauce and butter mixed with blue cheese, essentially. I make my own everything sauce with certain spices. Actually, a recipe referred to me by my dad. I used to go to a bar decades back. One of the earlier places, like I don't know when chicken wings became a thing. Obviously, like Buffalo Wing, it's a thing around Buffalo. But I know my dad, like back in the 5-cent wing night days, way back. So apparently, Wings and Things was open in Buffalo, New York in the 60s. So Anchor Bar, Wings and Things, you have like dueling people who made them first and who made them right and who made them better. I don't know if my dad's talking like 70s or 80s, but at some point, some place that he used to go to a long ways back, he knew the specific spices they had in there. And not that it's that secret. You could probably eat it and you could probably decode what's in there. Go very, very well. Just blue cheese, hot sauce, butter, and then the 7 secret herbs and spices. No, like 2 or 3 spices. They go really well. So I have my own everything sauce that I feel like I've perfected fairly well for chicken wings. Someday, a food truck, not a 9 to 5, not like all day, every day food truck, but special events here and there. Special events I've done with my dad. We've done graduation parties. We did food for my own graduation party. We've done birthdays. We've done family picnic, get together type things. Every time that there's a holiday, every time there's like I had a Super Bowl party with some people over, I made brisket, and I just love making food. I love eating food. I love making food. So I try to perfect the craft, right? I'm gonna be wrapping up soon. Let me try to catch up with these last few. I just can't get down with blue cheese. Yeah, it's not for some people. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of blue cheese. Um, Blue cheese can go a lot of places for sure. Burger, steak, salad, risotto. Let's see. Mason's got some consults too. So I charge 100 an hour. Mason charges 200 a question. I like it. Mason's high demand. He's one of those massive Pokemon influencers out here. He's got a lot more demand than me. Yeah, Frank's butter and fresh garlic. You don't need to do much more than that, but you can do a little bit more for sure. But yeah, I appreciate everyone hanging out tonight. Went a little bit longer than I had said, but I do need to get my labels and everything printed. I'll show you what taxes look like. This is why I pay other people. So I printed out everything that I filed last year. Well, everything that my CPA filed on behalf of me. Let me make sure I'm not like doxing myself or showing anything. Let me just add. I should add something else to the back. I just won't show the front. But yeah, this is how thick it's almost like a phone book. This is me just printing out every quarterly document, every New York State federal document that was filed, every calculation worksheet, like all the stuff that my accountants did. And a lot of it is just taking the thing that I sent to them and then just, I mean, a lot of it's the same things over and over duplicated. But it's a lot. It's a lot. And it's nice to be done with next year's. What I do is I grind it out for 2 nights, finish it all up, and then I take a night off. So tonight is my night off. Tomorrow night I'm diving back in, and then I'm delivering it to my CPA so that they can, sorry Earth, generate another